Okay, Rabbi, we're going to begin tonight's shiur. Rudi Shmat, you said? Osnat Bat Yafa, and also we have Refuah Shlema, also was part of the Refuah Nefesh, Refuah Aguf. I said if you're going to want to do Refuah Aguf, help out with the food over there a little bit. So Baruch Hashem, the Refuah Shlema Shoshana Bat Liza, and also for Sarah Bat Dora. Michal Noach, of course, Michal Noach Ben Katrina Leah also Refuah Shlema. Kal Yisrael needs him, we all need him. Hashem should give him Refuah Shlema. Karv Mamash. Rabbi, we're going to begin. Hopefully the papers come out on time. But we're going to begin today, first discussing Parashat Tazria, which talks about types of tzarad and stuff. And we're going to discuss, here we go. There's a Gemara. You got it, both sides? Not that. Derush Yud, good, and Derush Base. There should be two, give two to everyone, one top, one bottom. One top, one bottom. Derush Yud, Base. Okay. All right, the copies are ready. All right, so it says like this. There's a Gemara in Perek Yuma. Gemara Yuma. It says over there, the Gemara Yuma in Perek Zayin, the 7th Perek, it says like this. Pasuk talked about building the Aron, the ark. The golden ark, not the ark that's behind me, the golden ark, with Malachim on top. And there should be two. Now we're doing Derush Yud. It's from Tazria, Derush Yud. Then we'll do Derush Bet. Both of them are double-sided. So the Gemara in Yuma says the following. Amar Rava. Rava says, Kol Talmid Chacham, and even though we're talking about Talmid Chacham, it really applies to everyone, as we'll soon see. There's two lessons here. There's a lesson about our clothing, and there's a lesson also about a Talmid Chacham, but it also can apply to us. Amar Rava, Kol Talmid Chacham, any Talmid Chacham, She'ein Toho Keboro, that his inside is not like his outside, they're not equal, Eino Talmid Chacham. He's not a Talmid Chacham. Now, before we go any further, this entire comment needs its own explanation. If I want to say this person is not a good person, he's corrupt, two-faced. But here we're not saying that. We're saying he's not a Talmid Chacham. He's not intelligent. You missed the point. Comes the next guy, Abaye, and the Itema, some say Rabbi Bar Ula, as the Gemara says that one of these two guys said, and by the way, I'm adding, Af Nikra To'eva. He's also considered someone that is a To'eva, an abomination. He's hated by Hashem. That I understand, corruption. He's two-faced. But why did he add it? Just say a statement. This one said, hey, by the way, anybody who does not have the same, his inside and his outside, and I'll explain in a second what that means. Yep. Wouldn't let him in. And then we know what happened. We switched gears. We put in 400 benches that day. Okay, very good. We're going to get to that. Maybe we get to that at the end. That's a good point. But we have to first understand what was the Toho Kiboro. This is a concept that everyone talks about. You're going to hear the Drasha, every Rosh Hashiva, every Rebbe, every Rav. Toho Kiboro is not a Talmid Chacham. What are you trying to say with that? And what are you trying to say, Abaye? What are you adding? He's also a To'eva. He's an abomination. We hate him. What are you adding? Alex, so let's see this inside. And Abaye says, Af Nikra To'eva, Shenemar Be'iyov, like it says in the pasuk in Eov, Af, even Ki Nit'av, when you become someone that is an abomination, a loathsome, this guy, two-faced, V'ne'elach, and tainted. And over there, the rest of the pasuk is important, and he's drinking water. The Gemara over there explains, Mayim is Torah. The guy is drinking water, and while he's drinking water, he's being a two-faced. So how do we understand that today? Just to give an example, yeah? Your doctor comes over to you and says, don't smoke, because it's going to kill you. And while he's talking to you, he's puffing. Don't do this. It's not good for you. And he's not the first guy that needs to. I went to a doctor when I was little. My mother found a doctor. She said, "Oh, this one speaks Russian in Borough Park. We're going to go to this guy." Put this up. This guy, I didn't like him. He didn't like me either because I was religious. You have a problem. You religious people is hepatitis. You religious people don't wash your hands. Like we have you wake up and eat from. We wash our hands. This guy had a problem. I noticed that he was limping. So I told my mother in my broken Russian, I said, if this guy couldn't fix himself, he shouldn't touch me. I'm out. And I was kicked out of this doctor's office. So 15th Avenue and 55th Street. There was a Russian doctor. He was limping. I told my mother, he's broken. He couldn't fix himself. He's going to fix me. Who does he think he is? He heard that. Oh, that was the end of me being under this guy's tutelage. I was over with him. Okay, I left that office. But imagine if it's not a Rabbi or someone that you look up to, and it's not Toho Kiboro. It's not. He is not what he preaches. It's very hard to be taken serious then. It's very hard to listen to him. Okay. Zera Shimshon asks, I want to understand, why is he not considered intelligent? Why is he? That's because he could be intelligent, and we see today in colleges, it's like that. The guy could be a philosopher, but he's a college kid and does the most dumbest things on the planet. Why are you calling someone who's not equal the inside and the outside, not even a Talmud Chacham, unintelligible? That's question one, he says. And then he says, okay, Abaye or Rabbi Bar Ula, why you waited till Rava said he's not a Talmud Chacham, and then you said, oh, he's also To'eva, he's an abomination. Why you waited so long? Say your own statement. Amar Rava, Talmud Chacham that doesn't have his insides equal to his outsides. He's a corruption, he's two-faced, he's not a Talmud Chacham. And then there should be another Gemara right after that. Amar Abaye, someone who is not Toho Kiboro, he's To'eva. Why you have to only talk after Rava said his din? Why are you coming after that? Only now, the pasuk says you're a To'eva, finished. You're drinking water and you're taking Torah and you're being a hypocrite. That's already its own piece. You don't need to add to Rava. You should say your own statement. Be standalone. Because what really Zera Shimshon is doing here, he's trying to teach us something. We're going to see three concepts, and then we're going to see that the Gemara was so precise. So one time, I wanted to leave yeshiva, and said, I had enough of Bet Midrash. How many years should I be there? And my father's Rosh Yeshiva comes into his store in Borough Park. Rabbi Nechemya Yegudayev is a Rosh Yeshiva from Bnei Brak. One of his brothers is a Chazan, Daniel, the kind of short guy is his brothers, 4 brothers. He tells my father he can't leave yet. He says, why? Until you can't dissect a snake just by talking. If you're not that precise, you're not ready yet. Yeshiva's the Midrash is going to teach you how to think and have the scholarly type of analyzation on documents and text. That's what we do. The Gemara is exact, and its words are exact, and the lesson is crazy. We're going to see this right now. Now we're going to go to the next paragraph. The Amrinon beperek chet de Shabbat. So he brings the Gemara on Shabbat, and he brings the term Sudra. Anyone ever heard of the term Sudara? Sudra. Sudra is what we wear today, a talit, a cloak. It's a Sudra would be also the turban that they would wear. You have a Sudra. The laws of putting the talit over your head is learned in Kiddushin, and it's learned also in Gemara and Shabbat. The Gemara and Shabbat talks about Sudra. Everyone knows what a yarmulke is. Yeah, what's a yarmulke? Jukab. When you say kippah, Ashkenazim say yarmulke. What does yarmulke really mean? It's a Hebrew word. Yarei, fear, me Hashem. Sudra is the source of this word. Sudra, if you look, it says Sudra. What does it mean? Sod, the secret, Hashem of God, li re'av, to those who fear him. Someone who fears God would wrap his head. Then they use the turban. So this term would be the saleh or the turban on the guy's head, sudra. Okay, what about it? What about it? Says the Marsha on this word sudara, that it's a secret of Hashem, is for those who fear. And what does the Marsha say? Bigdei Adam miramezim al midotav shel Adam. A person's clothing alludes to his moral character. The person dresses, and that tells us your moral character. That's step one, Masechet Shabbat. Okay, an example would be, if you work in a store, I worked in my uncle and father's store. They used to be part of Imperio shoes, Imperio suits. So in the first beginning in the 80s and 90s, my uncle had the shoe store on 54th, and there was one suit store in Imperio in Borough Park. We had the shoes. One day, very interesting people came in. We had a buzzer to call the cops. These people came in. Everyone understands what kind of people. They came, they stole the shoe from the inside, the showcase on the walls. Size 6 we put. We only put right sides. Chutzpah, he stole also from the window showcase. It has now 2, size 6, but they're both right. They come the following week. How come you don't got no lefts out there? What happened to the left shoes? That's the guy asking. And we told him, kindly leave where the cops are coming, because you stole the other pairs. They did not have a suit, and they did not wear dignified clothing. I don't know, you wear a hoodie in certain areas, you get shot at. It's scary. Your clothing, as the Gemara says, alludes to your moral character. Kemoshe Katuv, like the Pasuk says, Bechol et, all the time, you begadecha levanim. Your clothing should always be white, which is allusion to spiritual purity. It says so in Kehillat, and when we say white garment, like on Yom Kippur, everyone wears a white garment, or on Pesach, the head of the Seder wears a white garment. You want to show spiritual purity. So we learn from there that your clothing alludes to your moral character. Now look what the Zera Shimshon says. Uv ma'alot hamidot hi hayirah. And what's the best character? What's the highest character trait of a person? Is fear of heaven. Therefore, that kippah that they wore back then, the sudra, was called the sudar, that was prepared to wrap around the head. Hamoreh, that is, it compares to Alzehu meyuchad leyirei Hashem. It's meant for the fear of Hashem. Okay, that's the Marsha. That's concept number one. We learned that clothing, like what people say, clothing makes the man. Clothing, this is everything. Is Adam kivado malbusho? It's your clothing. Okay, that's one step. Second thing the Gemara says, also from Masechet Shabbat. Look at the next paragraph. Ubeperek elu kesharim. I'm reading and it says, Amar Rab Chia bar Abba, Amar Rab Yochanan. Kol Talmid Chacham, any scholar, shenimtza revav al begadav, that has a stain, a greasy stain on one of his garments, hayav mita. Now, this is a crazy statement. So if I ate some nice smash burger and sauce dripped down my beard and ended up on my tie or on my jacket or on my shirt, I'm just hayav mita. That's crazy. I should be put to death because okay, so maybe I can understand. You're a scholar, you represent the Kehillat, and you're walking around like an idiot. Okay, I get it. I remember in yeshiva, Rabbi said, tuck in. I said, why? Because you don't look good. You have to look good. Tuck in. Okay, I get it. Certain outfits, you have to have a certain way of dressing, the dress code. I get you. This is extreme. And he brings a pasuk from Mishlei. Shene'emar, kol misanai, all those who hate me, ahamu mavet. They actually love to die. If you hate Hashem, you must be that you love to die. And we make a drasha, we learn from this. Don't say mesanai, but say masni'ai. What does the pasuk really mean? Those who cause to hate Hashem, they're hayav mitah. So let's take a picture. I work for New York Times or some other big company, and I want to take a picture of Jewish community, the rabbi. First of all, they don't know who's a rabbi. They found 5 Hasidim, took a picture, they were speeding or whatever it was, now they write on the paper, 5 rabbis were caught speeding. 5 rabbis were caught with this fraud, that fraud. They don't know. They're rabbis, not rabbis. They don't know what they're looking at. And this is something I wanted to say from day one. It's not, today you can't say, oh, because I have a certain title or I have a certain... At the moment you became a Jew, the moment you were born, you already have a title. Jew is Yehudi. You have Hashem's name in you. 4. You have Yud Kei Vav Kei and Dalet all over you. 4 corners of the world, and you have all the tops and bottom. Everything is God. The moment you became a Jew, they're already looking at you in a certain way. This is the truth. So if you cause someone to hate Hashem, chas v'shalom, you fall under the category of this pasuk. So now it makes a little sense. Someone who is a rabbinical leader or a scholar, not even rabbis, yeshiva bachrim. And then if they're doing something wrong, chas v'shalom, they might cause somebody to hate Hashem. All the classes that I taught all my life, I made such a hagdama, and I never had issues. I said, you guys don't make the teachers upset. When I give you a good year, just be good. I don't want Achil Hashem. In the Mir, I don't know if you remember, they had a story. The other pizza shop on Kings Highway in East 4th, Albert, became religious because of the Mir Yeshiva. Because they were so nice, these students came, they picked up their plates and threw it out. They cleaned the table. They didn't say, hey, if I'm going to clean it, what's that guy going to do? It's his job. They picked it up right away. They cleaned it. The guy said, I want to know what this is all about. He came to the Bet Midrash. The next thing we know, an entire legacy, a whole family, all became religious because of that. The opposite. Chas v'shalom, what about the other way around? You're going to cause someone to hate Hashem. The guy doesn't just curse the Jew. Curses the Jew and all the Jews and the God and everything with it. So the Altikre Mesanai, don't read it Mesanai, those who hate me. Ella Masniai, who cause someone to hate either Hashem or the Torah. Okay. And then he brings the third piece. And he says, and this is very interesting. Very interesting. Brings a Gemara in Sanhedrin that talks about 3 kings and 4 scholars that they weren't really good people. They don't really deserve any reward in the world to come. And they expect something completely different. The Gemara in Sanhedrin. Or you remember this Gemara? Okay. So, it's a Perek Chelek. Towards the end of the Masechta. Amar Rav Mesharshia. Doeg, a very famous character in Navi. Achitofel, these are people who gave advice to kings, who were supposed to be the head of the Sanhedrin. These guys know halacha. You ask them the question, they'll give you the answer. They messed up Shaul, they said, Kol Zachar, kill only all the males. You can take everything else for you. They messed them over. And then with David also, similar stuff happened. So, look what it says over here. Matkiv la... Mustarian. Amar Mishasha Dog Achitofel lo havo. They did not have the ability. Savri Shema'atita. They didn't understand their studies. Now that's very hard. Because I just told you that they were answering questions of the Nevi. They obviously knew something, right? The Melech went over to them. Shaul said, what do I do? I got to kill the Amalekim. What do I do? Oh, the Torah says like this. They knew something. They were going to quote that. So what do you mean they don't understand their studies? And now we're going to tie all 3 concepts together. And we're going to understand now what the Nazis thought they did to us, made us wear a yellow thing, the Spanish and all the other places, they made us wear a special hat. They didn't do a bad thing. They did a good thing. They gave us an identity of clothing Because clothing, if you wear the right clothing, does the right thing to you. We're going to see this right now inside. Matkivlor Marzutra, he asks a question. The Gemara says, Ayeh Sofer. The Gemara says, where's the guy that knew how to count? He knew all the measurements of the Torah. Ayeh Shokel, who knew how to count all of the different mitzvot. He was able to answer like 300 and something questions. Where is the tower? All these represent different different nicknames to these two people, that they knew Torah. So you just said they don't know how to learn. Now you say they know Torah. What's going on here? And he explains to them. He says like this. There's a word called Sod Hashem Lire'av. The Sod, the secret to understand halacha, to understand the Torah, to be able to live by the Torah, it's only for those who fear Hashem. These two guys, they maybe knew, they had intelligence, maybe they knew something, maybe. But they got everything wrong. They gave the wrong advice. You can't live by that. You want to learn Torah good? You want to be able to increase your Torah study? You want to be able to become more knowledgeable? You're going to have to do Sod Hashem Nire'av. Change the way you dress. Change the way... I always wanted to answer the boy. He wanted a smaller yarmulke. I said, you have to have a bigger yarmulke. What's the source? Here's the source. You have to wear clothing that matches your identity. That makes your identity. Let's see this inside. And Rashi explains this to me. They didn't understand, meaning lo hayu yodin halacha. They could not accurately explain halacha. The parasha, to explain it, ketikuna b'ta'ama, to explain the halachot with all its reasons, they couldn't do it. V'doeg Achitofel timna haya belibam. Doeg and Achitofel, they had in their hearts impure thoughts. V'lo hayta toratam ela min hasafa lahutz. Their whole Torah was from the lip outward, lip service. That means their davening was lip service. They only lived the Jewish life when somebody was looking. Okay, it's not important what the ends were. The Gemara there goes through it. Yeah. The Afa Pisha Yukol Kachachamim, and although they had such accomplishments and scholarly, they learned, they knew, they're good, they can quote who knows what. They're very good, yeah? Since they couldn't do the correct halacha, Mikri the Losavri Shmaita, the Gemara calls them that they didn't understand their studies. They weren't in it. They were just doing lip service. Oh, my neighbors are going to see. That's all they cared about. What do I do when I go on a vacation? The first thing I do when I go on a vacation is I search where's the closest shul. So it becomes a very hard thing when you're trying to find the Airbnb. It doesn't want to give you the address until you pay. You have to first, I can't do it. So I message the guy. If I got to wait, I ask them. I say, please show me the pool area, what it looks like. He's like, what's the problem? It's private pool. I say, I know it's private pool, but it is a golf course right behind it, or 101 building apartments. It's not for me. I want to see that it's private. Yeah, okay, good. I want to know where's the closest Orthodox shul or synagogue. Could you kindly give me the address? If they don't want to give it, I move on. I say, okay, it's fine. It's okay. You don't want to give it, I don't need it. Move on. Something else. That's the way, because you wanna be Toho Kiboro the entire time. And now we're going to tie the whole thing together. You're going to see now why Rava said his piece and only Abaye said it after that. Because that's how it happens. We're going to see that right now. So we now understand three sources. We have one source, these two guys that were supposed to be the ones advising the king. They're supposed to be part of the Sanhedrin. They're supposed to understand halachot. They got it all wrong. They only did from their lips outward. They weren't real. We learned that causing people to hate Hashem because you may have like a stain, a rabbi may have a stain on this thing, something that's not nice on a person that doesn't match, it's not good, shouldn't do Chil Hashem. And then we learned that a person's moral character is in his clothing, it shows. Now, with these three sources, Zera Shimshon will explain the first original question. Why did Rava say that you're not a Talmud Chacham? Just say you're corrupt. Why are you saying you're not a Talmud Chacham? And why only did Abaye say afterwards that you're a Toeva Hashem hates you? So you can already see that these three fit in perfectly. Okay, let's see that inside. The Kevan, and now we're going to explain. The Kevan, and since. Did I skip? No, I'm good. Okay, here we go. L'chen, therefore. I'm sorry, l'chen, therefore. Amar Rava, kol Talmud Chacham she'ein tochel kiboro. Any scholar whose inside is not like his outside, is not real, that means she'ein lo hayirah. He doesn't have fear of Hashem. I'm going to tell you a story, you will understand. We were learning how to be sofrim, scribes. We have 30 sofrim learning. Rabbi Vosner's grandson gave us shiur on halacha. Rabbi Markowitz, another big sofer, taught us how to write. He won second shiur in. He brought tefillin. He gave it to everyone. He said, "It's puzzle. Find it." Why is it puzzle? We're looking. We take the razor. We pop it open. We look at the parshiyot. We're staring at it in the light, out the light, on the side, Everything looks good. All the letters are there. All the Shem Hashems are there. The right size. Everything was put in correctly. Even the housing, the batim that we wear, leather boxes, was sanded beautiful. I felt bad opening it. The rabbi said, "It's puzzle. Find it." Couldn't find it. Then, after 15 minutes of us pachkarayim with all this tefillin, he says, "They were all written on Shabbat." The original American Jewry that didn't have rabbis, only chazans. And long story short, there was no real leadership then. They had beautiful safrut, but they felt it was calligraphy. It's Hebrew art. So on Shabbat, with a cigarette, laying on the grass, writing the words, Ushmartem bet HaShabbat, they're writing that while they're smoking and doing it on Shabbat. There was a story, this happened personally with me. I found a Jewish, I guess he used to be a religious guy. He was writing a Sefer Torah for a community. At that time, I did not know it was a Reform community. And I know he works in England. He's a Bukharian guy. He works in England in an Uzbek restaurant on Shabbat cooking treif. He's writing a Sefer Torah. I said, "Oh my gosh, I got to stop this right away." It took me a few months. I found out it was a Reform shul. Doesn't make a difference what they're buying. But this guy, he's writing on Shabbat, and he's teaching on YouTube. You can find him teaching on Shabbat. Today's Shabbat, and I'm writing on Mezuzah. And then he says, "I'm getting rid of all my Jewish books." He had one book left, the Russian Torah. It says Topa. He put it on the scale, 613 grams. He goes, "Coincidence?" I wrote, "Shoteh, it's telling you keep mitzvot, not selling them. You're out of your mind." He was in the Israeli army. He had smicha before the Israeli army. He went off his rockers. I feel bad for this guy. Can you imagine you buying a Sefer Torah and it was pasul, not because it was written wrong, but because it was written wrong? On the wrong day, on a Shabbat. Rabbi Chanan Wasserman found some people that were talking with him, and they said, "Rabbi, I wanted to pick your brain." I think it was from Kelm, smart people from Kelm. And he goes, "When did you have these questions?" He goes, "Rabbi, this is after I became maskilim, they became enlightened people. They went off to Derush. So I want to hear from you. I don't want to answer you." "No, I like Gemara. We like Gemara. It's good for my brain." They're not even learning for Torah's sake. Learning because it's exercise for the brain. For them, it became math or science. It's very unfortunate. So, over here, we're learning what's the problem if my inside is not good, only my outside's good. Oh, you are missing Yirat Hashem. You don't fear Hashem. So you have a stain inside you. I'm going to connect everything now. We're out of time. You have a stain inside you. That's the no Yirat Shem. And if we're saying your inside and outside have to be the same, then if your stain is in the inside, your stain is also going to be on the outside. And what do we say about the outside? If you have a stain on the outside and you look like a Talmud Chacham, but you're stained with no Yirat Shamayim, you're a Chayav Mitah. Because you're probably going to take everybody with you into the drain. If a person does an Averah and it's only himself, that's one thing. But if he does it openly, hey, look, I see you, look at me, I could do whatever I could do, and you're bringing the whole ship down with you. You're the smart guy in the cruise that decided to have fresh water. Everyone's telling you, what are you doing with this? I'm not bothering you, yeah? You have cabin 500, cabin 5,000. It's 5,000 rooms here, 15 floors. It's a Disney cruise ship. Don't bother me. It's the fancy one that they had to open the ports wider for this one to get through. What is he doing? He brought a drill. He's going to make himself a spout. He wants to drink salt water, seawater. I'm not bothering you. It's my own room. I paid for this room. Yeah, I can do what I want. Yeah, what's going to happen to this boat at the end? It's going to capsize. Everyone's going to die with it. How can you get out so many people so quickly? The whole thing's going to turn upside down. That once you poke the hole, the pressure is going to make it even bigger and bigger. You are affecting other people. So that's the pshat over here. And therefore, you become, that's why Abaye afterwards says, not only that, not only are you not a Talmud Chacham, you're missing Yirat Shamayim. Not only are you missing Yirat Shamayim, but you're an abomination. You're a toiva. And it's not just Talmidei Chachamim. Every single one of us all fall under that category when it comes to the rest of the world. The rest of the world will not say, oh, he's not a rabbi. No. He's not a rabbi. He only looks like one. He only plays one on TV. It's not, they don't look like that. Everybody is included in that. Hitler didn't say this one, he plays ball. He's good. He could stay. Everybody went. They don't care. So we have to understand, just like Metzora, there's a physical blemish that's happening. And until it's not complete, I'm tameh, because it's still getting more and more. But once it's complete, it's stopped, it's not going to be tar, because there's no more problem here. The problem's already done. Now it's only going to go away. Same thing is with a person's outer persona and his inner persona. It's exactly the same. And if you're not having the inside and the outside equal, then Rahman al-Islam. With that, I'm just going to say the one that I prepared. I'm not going to have time, but Cain and Hevel. What sign was put on Cain? What is he walking around with? The Gemara has a machloket. One says it was like a shining sun was on him, and one says no. It was like sarat. Sarat is white, that was shining. In the entire Derush, he says, I don't get it. Sunlight means you healed. Sunlight is a good thing. You're giving him a good thing? And the other rabbi says, what are you talking about? If you gave him tzarat, then everyone stands away from him. If everyone stands away from him, you're letting him do tshuva, and he's going to get out of his problem. What kind of punishment is that? It's not a punishment, it's a good thing. And so, the Zera Shimshon then begins to explain what means the sun, what does it mean when it's shining on him, what does it mean that tzara'at is on him, and at the end, it also teaches us a lot of things that have to do with how a person should do tshuva, how a person should be able to accept if there is some kind of criticism on him, and how to move forward from it. You should always remember, criticism, someone comes to you and corrects you, he likes you. Because if he didn't like you, he would let you fail. And I'll tell you one story about that, and then we're going to end for tonight. My old house in Brooklyn, Kensington, had an Italian neighbor. This guy He said, when I was young, I owned the whole block. If I was young, I'd break your car. My friends would come, we'd move your car. Okay, he told me a whole bunch of things when he was young. One time, yeah. We come into the house. We didn't have a key for the front. I went through the back. I see in between the door jab of my basement 2 eyeballs looking at me. Not a human eyes. It looks like a small animal. I says it can't be. There's a bird in the house. My wife doesn't believe me. She's like, well, we'll check. Close the door. We checked. There's a bird in the house. It took us 2 hours to get the bird out of the house. We were running around, screaming. Bird came out of another window. Okay. I come out. What does my neighbor tell me? This genius says, oh, I have to tell you something. You have to put a cover on this thing. The bird's going to go in. I'm like, you know, it came in. Right? You could have told me it earlier. Second time, I was redoing the bricks in the front. I had to find the right color. I moved there 2 years ago. This guy lives there. He was born there. After I put all the bricks, and I had all the brickwork, this guy comes and goes, by the way, you could have put the other color. That would have been the right one. I said, but you could have told me, yeah? You live here. You see me. You should tell me. I could change it. Yeah? How do you take criticism? How do you give criticism? What do you see? A person that wants to come and truly help you, he likes you. You have to accept it. You have to say thank you to him. Sometimes, some criticism, you can't help him anything. Why are you telling him? You're hurting him. So you have to know when to say criticism too. You can't just say criticism. If someone bought something, I know the halacha is, I learned Safrut, but I don't write anymore, but someone bought something and it's not good. It's like, okay. You'll see. Who knows halachas are going to say, you bought it already? Oh, wow, very nice. You're very lucky you have it. Most people don't even have it. You're very lucky. If you ask the guy before you bought it, he'll tell you 101 problems, switch it. You can't tell it to you otherwise. You have to know when, you have to know how. So that we're going to do already on Shabbat. I want to thank everyone for coming. Once again, have a great night.
Zimun?
Yeah, who wants to make a zimun? I'll do the zimun. Havla menarich v'galisha b'shut kol ha'mesubim nevarech. How many people washed? You washed? נברך עלינו שחל משלום. ברוך אלוהים שלנו טוב חיינו, ברוך אתה אדוני,